badass.
Started it, so.
He's still got to log in, man. His battery was dead. Joe, when was the last time you used that thing?
Last time I was here.
Yeah, there you go.
Just in case, hold on.
I can't talk, man. None of my electronics charge.
I never use it.
My iPad I plugged in on my charger today because it's been dead for a week. My phone, by the time it's like, I'm like an hour before I even want to go to bed, my phone's at like 10%. It's so bad. It's just bad.
So here we go.
I'll eventually get in there.
Here we go now. So
music, so
here we go. Yeah.
No, I'm eventually gonna.
No, because I want you to stay back like that because you're actually in the camera right now. Where we're at. So yeah, you see.
He sucks and smiles.
That's why I just
Come here. Yes, you're a good
I
boy.
do that, and then you should be good.
Yes, you're a good boy. Yes, you are.
Alright. I even boomed mine out a little bit further this time too. Try and get myself up in here. Up in here.
Y'all gonna
slide
make me
back,
lose my mind.
Yeah, slide back just slightly.
There you go.
I'll come here.
Oh, my bad, Joe. No.
You're good. You're good.
Alright.
No, I don't need to be having my knee up on the camera and shit. It's white as hell. I'll be blind people.
When I dip, you dip.
Alright, I don't know. We're not.
I'll be blind.
We don't have the music rights to that, so we're not going to sing any further.
And not to mention that song is probably the only song that went popular for that artist. So they'd be quick to sue us just simply to be like, "Yeah, I need some money.
I need $5
I
for
ain't
that,
got
bro.
Nothing.
I need $5.
Right. So let's just get it started. I don't even know where we're going to start, but let's just start.
All right. I mean, I think there's an obvious place to start. So
Here we go.
So too.
It's good to be back.
So
Back to die on this hill
Oh yeah.
with my friends. As always, Mr. David Hastings,
you.
Mr. Joey D'Alessandro. Do I say that right?
I thought he was gonna be like
Yeah,
D'Alessandro. Like, I thought he
D'Alessandro
was gonna,
works.
like do like a full separation there. You kind of dropped the ball on that one, Eric. It's all right. We'll pick up.
Right?
Only
Pick up
better-
the slack
only
for
only
me.
better
Pick up
from
the
here.
slack.
Only better from here. So, yeah, dude. I think talking about not knowing where to start and a death that took place on Sunday.
Whoa, hell of a place to start.
I think that for the New York Knickerbockers and you being a fan of them and the comments made by Jalen Brunson, was this season a success when you especially factor in the 20-plus point blowout that took place to be eliminated on their own home court? I need to know.
What are you saying? Was his response?
No. What is your thoughts? Was this season a success?
Yeah. Hell yeah. I mean, you have to look at it as a success. You have to. And I don't see any other way around that because you weren't expected to be the 2 seed. Even to win 50 games this year. They overachieved in the best possible ways. They played with heart, they played with grit, and they played until they honestly couldn't play anymore. I this has to be a success. I don't know how you can rate it any other way.
I will completely and utterly agree with you. So the reason I say that too is because of the fact that the Knicks at the beginning of this year were considered a team that could make the playoffs, but the expectations weren't, number 2 seed, right? And then as they got towards the playoffs, and they made the move for Anobi.
OG.
Which I killed at the time. I
You
killed him.
You did kill. I told you you
Killed
would.
it.
I told you you would not regret.
I was wrong.
That
I have
statement.
to eat crow on it. I was wrong.
I just
was
love when I'm
wrong.
right. It doesn't happen very often. Ask Amanda; she'll tell you. It's not a frequent occasion. But either way, I think it is. I understand where Brunson was coming from, right? Like, I get what he's saying. I get from that competitor mindset. Like, I understand all of those things. What I can't agree with, though, is to say that this season wasn't a success, because to me it really was, and it's something that they should be looking at as to build off of. I don't think they should be scared to make moves in free agency, but I think if you can keep your Villanova boys together, maybe Hartenstein. I mean, there's some guys on this team that I think are really good core players to what you need for a championship roster. And what you really need to do is you need to get Brunson some help, somebody else that can be consistently relied on or have the ability to step in and take over a game if Brunson gets hurt or the way they're playing Brunson just doesn't work. But overall, I think Brunson's wrong. This season was a success and something you could build off of. I do think it was a royal disappointment of what was watched on Game 7. But I understand because Hart barely played, which is just crazy to think about considering how much he was playing like throughout the playoffs, right? Obi came in, he played 4 or 5 minutes, done for the game, couldn't play.
He was
anymore.
marathon man.
So I mean, and then Brunson fractures his hand when you get to the fourth quarter, and Tibbs just waved the white towel, and you don't blame him.
And absolutely that. I can't blame them because they had nobody else. I understand Jalen Brunson's reaction. I do. Because like you said, on one hand, they did have a successful season. How many people at the start of the season would have signed up for the Knicks getting into the second round? I think almost every Knicks fan would have said, yes, love it, sign it up.
One game away from an Eastern Conference Finals appearance.
But Brunson makes a point. They're disappointed because they had this team on their heels. They really did. They were up 2-0. And unfortunately, the OG going down really killed them in this series. I think even with a healthy OG, they're in the Eastern Conference Finals. I honestly believe that. They needed to get games. They needed to get Game 6 because I didn't think that they'd have the horses for Game 7. And I think that's why Brunson's upset because he knew this team could have gone further. And I think they have an awesome chance here in the postseason, meaning after now, to make adjustments and to improve upon on this team because this is a damn good New York Knicks team, and I feel like this is a Knicks team that New Yorkers are proud of. This is the type of team that the Knicks fans have been craving for a long time. It's gritty, it's tough, it's hard work. This is what empowers this whole area, and this is why everybody has gotten behind this New York Knicks team. They don't need to do anything crazy this offseason. Continue with what you've been doing. Try to improve the roster, and yeah, I'm all about
Any
it.
chance they re-sign Brunson now? Any chance of that? And I should say from Brunson's side because it makes total sense for the Knicks to do. But for Brunson, if he re-ups now, I was listening to the numbers earlier, and if he re-ups now, he would pretty much be 5 years, $181 million, about 36 a year average. If he waits till after next season, the max would be it would be 5 for 2.
70.
Yeah, something like that. So it's like
270?
It's 240. Yeah, because it's 54 a year average. So by signing now, he's actually kind of costing himself like 17 million, 18 million a year by signing an extension this offseason as opposed to next offseason. Now, again, you have to bet on yourself. You have to bet that you're going to stay healthy. He does have a fracture in his hand. Obviously, we think and hope and everything turns out the way it's supposed to there. But what do you do? Because you kind of have to bet on yourself, but at the same time,
what do you do?
What do you?
I don't know if I hold out.
That is not a question. You
is,
are
though.
talking
We're talking stupid amount of money.
exactly
Stupid
for a
amount-
guy that has proven he is very good at the game of basketball.
Yes,
It does not matter how the team performs.
but
He will get paid at the end of next year as long as he plays even 3/4 of his how good he played this year. He will still get paid.
But the biggest argument I heard for it though is if he plays.
Tell me to help the team build a better roster, and I'm leaving.
No. Better than that. Better than that. If he plays another 2-3 years on a deal that he re-ups now, so it'd be a 5-year deal. Say he plays 3 of those years. By the time he goes to re-up again, he'll only be, I think, 29 or 30, and he'll be able to get closer to like 60 to 70 a year by doing that. So you could be, by extending it another 2-3 years, you could be almost getting another 15-20 million on top of that. So at what point do you start thinking long-term money, this, that, and the other? By the end, it's all going to pretty much even out the same. By the time he's done with this contract, whatever it is, whether he plays it out and then signs next year and gets his 54-year or whatever, that'll probably equal out pretty much what he would have got if he would have stayed and signed the contract this year for 36 and then been able to get 60 or 65 or 70, in 2-3 years from now. So there are some arguments for it. The other thing is
No,
I know
there's not.
Hey,
He's still signing a 5-year deal either
you
way.
still have to. But
Why
again,
can't
if
he
you're talking
re-up
about, you're
Why
talking
can't
about
he
bringing
re-up
back the same
again?
roster, right? You're talking about bringing back the same roster.
Uh-huh.
How are you going to do that if you have to sign him for that max money? You have to sign OG this offseason. You have other guys to sign. So obviously, then is OG not a part of it?
That's the Knicks' problem.
No,
Stop it. Every sport we ever talk about contracts, who in their right freaking mind thinks that these players should not try to get every penny they can out of the billionaires
but what
that
happens
will
if-
wipe their ass with the money they pay 'em?
But again, you're looking at it, I think, in a little
As
bit of
a
a
human
short-sighted manner because you're not thinking about the whole picture.
Yeah, I am.
I
5
don't
years,
think you are.
$270 million guaranteed. No ifs, ands, or buts. It's basketball
It's not
money.
guaranteed,
Yes,
though.
it
That's
is.
the difference. Is if he goes in and breaks his leg this year, tears an Achilles, does something else, that money's gone. It's
No,
gone.
it ain't. It's the NBA. He'll play 1 year, prove himself, and get his money.
No, but that's then that's 2-3 years down the road, and he's not getting the $50 million anymore. So that's where again you've got to think about it. Is it worth betting on yourself for that year? Certain players did it. Aaron Judge did it successfully. Not many people do. If he's going to gamble on himself, I have full faith in him. But then again, you're also not thinking his godfather is the GM. Or president, I'm sorry, and his father is a coach on the squad. I'm pretty sure the Knicks are going to take care of him no matter what. So that's where I'm looking at it. If they're going to try to build a roster now, why wouldn't they go to him and say, listen, take this now, and we're going to sign you for that other money? Do you think his godfather and his father are going to screw him on a deal? I don't.
Yes.
I don't.
Yes.
I don't. I look at it a little differently. I look at this situation.
Say it perfectly.
It's
They're
business.
going to do their job.
Yes. Agreed.
But their job is to talk him into signing for less money right
yes.
now.
100%.
And
100%.
Unless he is insane, he's not gonna. He's going.
Nah,
not
I
gonna
can't
do it.
say. Look, I could see if he does do it because I know you said you'd walk out. However, what if he's comfortable in life just being like, hey, I don't need to be the top paid guy. I want to freaking just win a ring. I want to win a ring. And the best way to do
That's
it.
great. If he believes
Best
he's
way
a
to
great
do it
player,
is to
he
sign
can
a year
believe he can
early
lead
and
a
leave
team there.
a little money on the table because maybe, like we're all saying, at the back end of his career, the Knicks will be like, okay, hey, you now we'll give you stock when you retire in MSG or something.
We'll do whatever. Yeah, again, they could come up with all sorts of creative things to do on the back end.
I don't know.
Especially if he brings
Maybe
it
not
back
that,
to
because
New York.
both of you are willing to consider this, so we can officially say that this is my die on the hill.
No. Because I see both.
That's great. I don't
do.
see both sides. I see a man
That's
that
where he's only
I
seeing
see a
money.
man that worked his ass off to
He's
earn
only
the
seeing money.
opportunity to
You're
get a
o- no,
contract
No, he's
like
seeing
that.
it from the player's point of view, which 99% of players are going to be just about their money. And hey, if you wait an extra year and bet on yourself, you make $100 extra million right there. So I understand that, but is it about money or winning? If it's about money, wait the extra year and Bet on
Believe in yourself.
And
But just
you'll get
that's the
paid.
thing. You.
But if it's not, if you want to win, there's nothing wrong with taking a team-friendly deal for a few years and saying, "Hey, this is our opportunity because the East is weak, and let's go." Because I think fully healthy, they
Dave
could've-
can't hear this, but this is for him.
Stop it.
Stop it.
Get some help.
I figured that'd be it. No, I will not.
They
Because
got an
if this was
opportunity with
any
a
other
weak East.
player on any other team,
Weak East.
you would not sit here and say this.
That's not true.
Yes, it is.
It's not true. I would say it about Steph Curry in San Fran. I don't think he should leave the Warriors. I like to see guys who stay with the team. I like that the Knicks brought this guy in, made him their guy. I like paying their guy.
Like
I'm
to
not
see
opposed
it.
to
I
paying
get
him.
that,
But what I'm
but-
saying is you got to get creative because, again, you still have to sign guys for next year. You still have to bring back the guys you have. So if you have core guys, again, I don't think they went out and traded for Anunoby to not sign him. So they want to throw money at him. You know, there's other guys on this team. And to bring back Harkenstein, they're probably not going to be able to do already because they don't have the money to do it. So, I mean...
So they can literally do all of these things this year without paying him and then pay him next year.
No, where's the money to pay him next year? If they're already paying these guys and they're maxed out salary wise,
if you wanna keep
it's
him
not
and you
it's not an
move your
open
shit
salary
around.
cap.
Salary cap's
You can
not
figure
real.
it
They
out.
can
You can
figure
figure
it
it
out.
out.
Always figure it out.
No, not in the NBA. They have a luxury tax they can go over and different things,
yeah,
but
and-
it's not the
Look
same.
at
Knicks
Boston.
will go
Boston's
over.
paying Tatum. They're paying Brown.
Porzingis.
But those are
Porzingis.
hold on. They're paying Porzingis
Horford.
because they traded for him, and the other two guys were their homegrown guys, which is why they're paying him.
Correct.
And that's why they're making
and-
as much as they are because they've been at one squad the
And
whole
so-
time.
and Horford,
with Brunson being now a Knick, they can afford to pay him more money because it's not like he's a free agent, right? Isn't it like if you keep your own guys, that's better in the NBA?
Yes.
They want you to keep your own guys.
Yes.
You're like, I
They
know there's
get-
another tax, but I wish I had all the information.
I'm just saying
in
that
front of me.
it would make the team more formidable if he were to sign this offseason.
That's
Correct.
great.
That's what I'm saying.
I love this.
That's great.
So,
Management, player.
That's great.
and as a player, if
fan.
he had his attitude, though, I wouldn't have him on my roster.
Yeah, like if
gotta be honest.
Jalen Brunson was talking like me right now, like the Knicks would just cut him. Stop it.
I'd cut
He'd
your
make
ass
him
right
way
now.
too much money for them
So
to cut his
Jalen
ass.
Brunson
It
ended
ain't
up being
happening.
Ant Edwards, being like, "Yo, you bro, like I want my money." You'd be like, "Done." You don't want Ant Edwards?
Stop.
Is that
it.
what-
Stop
that's-
it. This
that's what
is
you're saying. You
yeah.
don't want
Stop.
Anthony
This
Edwards.
is
I'm not saying I don't, but I'm just saying you also have to be
I'd
able to make
cut
it
him right
financially
away.
possible. You can't
right.
just go out there and sign everybody. The salary cap doesn't work that way.
no, it does not. But you can.
So
still
if you
sign.
pay him that much money and the salary cap only goes up by this much, but you're paying him this much more, you have less room on your
But you're
salary
not
cap
doing
to
that
make
this
moves.
offseason for the guys that you're talking about wanting to sign. You sign them with the money you have for this year. You worry about next year.
No, but that's why I'm worrying about next year now because next year could cost like
Yeah,
technically
'cause
more, but
for-
less
for-
in the long
for
run.
the Knicks. Who gives a shit?
I don't understand that thought process.
I don't either on that one.
Because you're talking about
Just 'cause it's the
you're
Knicks.
talking about a billionaire. No, all NFL owners. I want to see every player get paid.
They get paid.
Dude. You ever want to make a group of millionaires feel broke? Have them walk into a room with one billionaire.
I can
It's
walk
a
into a room
whole-
with one millionaire and I feel broke. I feel
But
broke.
that's the point. You could talk about people with hundreds of millions of dollars, and they are still flat broke compared to somebody that is worth billions. Let these players get.
But they're not
every
broke.
dollar
They have
can.
millions and millions of dollars that tell me they're not broke.
That's why the statement is said the way it's said. If you want to make a millionaire feel broke,
I don't
have him
care
walk
about
in.
making them feel broke. That's not what it's about. It's about, do you want to win? Do you
All
want to
right.
build a team? Do you want to build a championship?
That's
if not,
great.
and you want to focus on
That's
yourself, then great. We might be able to pay it, but you're never going to win.
But that's why
So do you
that-
care
that-
about winning, or do you care about everybody cares about getting
The
paid? I
man's
get
earned his
that.
money.
But he seems like a little bit of a different guy. Everything.
he
that's
does.
great.
He does seem
He
like
seems
a different
like a
guy.
horse of a different color, and until I,
I
see
think he's about
differently,
winning. I honestly do. I think he's about winning. He doesn't mind taking a little off the top. I really don't.
Now, this is all to say that I kind of agree that he's going to wait the year. But I would like to, as a fan, and again, I'm saying it as a fan, would like it to see him sign this year as opposed to next year. I would like to see that just shored up done. We don't got to worry about it for a couple years. Couple years from now, we'll have a better roster, this, that, and the other, and you can keep it moving. But, and he'll get his money then. And he'll get his money overall. Again, I can't feel bad for a guy when he's talking about millions and millions of dollars. Like, it's, you're still getting millions. It's not like they want to pay $100,000. It's not like they're telling you you got to pay for your own flights.
Yeah,
like
but for every million they're paying him, the owner's making 5 times.
Not true. Some of these teams don't make that much money. Some of them don't even make money at all. But the owners don't care because they still own a franchise and they're billionaires. So even if they take a loss on it, they take a loss.
They're making money head over fist.
Mm-hmm.
Not everybody. This is the NBA, not the NFL. The NBA makes a fraction of what the NFL makes.
And that's still a pretty big
it
dollar
doesn't,
amount.
but again, it's not enough to where I think that they're completely, oh my God, like the billions they're bringing in a year. Each team isn't bringing in $1 billion a year.
Compared to what they spend in salary cap, they're making at least.
I bet you they make less than what they spend in salary cap.
I wouldn't agree with that at all.
I wouldn't agree with that.
Well, we're gonna agree to disagree there.
I mean, if anybody out there has the time to, Google that, that'd be awesome. Love to see that in the chat, or comment it on the podcast where you can hear places and subscribe.
Fighting Irish 57 says, "Pay the man, pay the man,
pay the man." Let's go. But yeah, no, that was again, to come full circle, I don't think it was a disappointing season. I think it's a season the Knicks should be proud of. Brunson should be proud of. And then on the other end of the East, I think did the Celtics already move to the Eastern Conference Finals by last Tuesday?
Yeah, they won in 5.
Yeah, that was quick. So I think that's going to be a pretty good series. But if the Celtics win in anything less, like 5 to me is what the number that makes sense. They should win in 5, and they should, but they constantly choke in the conference championship. I don't know how much I trust them. Even on ESPN.com, what to say? Will the Tatum Brown era Celtics probably finally prove they're worthy? Or
they got to win. They got to win a ring.
They at least got to get there.
I thought they got there before, but they lost.
But they got there. I think they only got there once. But like they've been into the Eastern Conference Finals like 3 or 4 out of the last 5 years, right? Like, stop it. So like, prove that you're worthy. Beat the team that you're better than, and get yourself to the NBA Finals. But I think the Celtics win in 5. Indy steals 1 at home, but Indy hasn't lost at home all playoffs. So I don't know.
I'll say Celtics in 6, but I think it's the Celtics no matter what. They're too tough, especially they get Porzingis back, Jaylen Brown, Tatum. They're the best team in the East. But yeah, they should roll over Indy. Although I do think, like you said, that they're undefeated at home. So I'll say 6.
I'll say Celtics in 6 as well.
Oh man, feeling froggy.
Indiana doesn't play any D. Boston, for some reason, they need to feel challenged in order to wake up. So I feel like Indiana will take a couple games.
Porzingis is set to miss the first 2. So, and then be reevaluated before game 3. So if they're up 2-0, they might sit him another game, let him be healthy. He's a very valuable piece to getting them out of this round. So, and then out west, we're gonna save the best for last. Out west, you had Dallas take out OKC in Game 7. Dallas just more experience. I told you when the playoffs were starting that I thought OKC would be knocked out in the second round. They're a very good team. They've got a lot of potential, but they had some growing pains. And Kyrie Irving stepping up, Luka, some other guys on Dallas. Seeing Luka and Kyrie in the Western Conference Finals with Anthony Edwards is going to be a lot of fun. But speaking of, I don't know if you guys have any thoughts at all on the Dallas OKC series. I don't even know if that's anything you guys are into. I'm
proud of OKC.
Listen, I can still admit I was wrong, but I was half wrong with the kids. I didn't think that
I thought they went around.
Yeah, I thought they'd be knocked out in the second.
I'm proud of them.
They pushed Game 7 too. I honestly think I get where you're trying to go because they are kids, right? They have a lot of growing to do. But overall, I think being one game
they are
for such a young team. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, but that's exactly it, Joey. They are who I thought they were. They're a young team that needed to grow. They needed this experience. They needed this to happen because this is going to make them a better team. This is going to make that young. It's going to make them grow. It's going to make them be better players overall.
Yeah.
So much like the Knicks, where we think this season could have helped the Knicks, I think this season really helped OKC. And they needed that because I know Holmgren, when he came in the league, he was injured. They had other issues going on. But the way these kids have all come together, the way they play, they're fun to watch. And, this series was really good. I mean, Luka is otherworldly. We've talked about that I don't know how many times. I think that this is actually the Mavericks' probably best chance to win because they don't have to go through Denver now.
Yep.
So, and not only that, by the time they get to the finals, the Eastern Conference isn't as strong as, to be honest, the Celtics are good and they have a lot of great talent, and I'm not saying they can't win the finals.
I mean, the Celtics are also the overall number one.
If you're going to they are. But again, they played in a weaker East, in my opinion.
Oh, hell yeah. It's not even close to how. I mean, the top three teams in the West have the same record.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They were split by, different tiebreakers that are out there that people don't even understand, I think. I could be wrong. It could be a real simple tiebreaker, and I head-to-head, and I just don't know that, but I'm really hoping it's some off-the-wall, better free throw percentage is what got them to move forward. So, but really quick, Minnesota coming back from down over 20 to win by 10.
Oh, my God.
In Game 7.
Absolutely ridiculous.
In Denver. Just such an impressive, tough comeback.
Stupid, bro.
Oh,
Absolutely stupid.
Yeah. No, I mean, unbelievable. It was. I mean, they were dead. They were up 2-0 in the series, and we all thought it was over. Then they go and they lose 2, but it's just
I thought it was over there. I was like, Denver woke
No,
up.
they lost 3 in a row.
I know, and then I had to come back and win 6 and 7. I went 6 in Denver and then 7.
I didn't know this, but he looked at the people that were they won Game 5. They lost Game. Or won Game 6 in Minnesota, won Game 7 in Denver, right?
Yeah, that's it.
He told Anthony Edwards told the staff that worked at the stadium after their Game 5 loss, and he said, "I'll see you guys for Game 7."
Yeah, I heard that story.
And I thought that was such a bad... you got to love the confidence, right? Even when you're down, he's still talking. But one of the coolest things I saw is we were 20 years to the day.
Yes! I was going to bring that up.
Where Kevin Garnett led Minnesota to the Western Conference Finals. Yeah, this was yesterday, right? I think this was yesterday.
No, the 19th.
When they knocked him out, when Minnesota eliminated him, it was KG's birthday and 20 years to the date when they beat Sacramento to go to the Western Conference Finals. I thought that was so badass.
That's cool. And then to add on to that, it was their Minnesota Timberwolves' first game ever, Game 7 on that day, and it was their second Game 7 ever for that. Gotcha. I wish you had the after game interviews where Ant-Man and Big Cat blew up on the reporter who asked them about, don't you guys need to lose? Don't you guys need to lose a little bit? And they're like, what the heck are you talking about, man? We've been losing for 20 years. Big Cat's response. So I think that's pretty cool.
Absolutely. But not to interrupt, but as you heard, it was actually pretty good timing because I just connected it too. We have our buddy, Mr. Eric Pfeiffer, joining us on the line today. How you doing, man?
5. Awesome.
Say that one more time for us.
He's getting shots.
Shots of espresso. I can hear it, man.
I'm on my way to get my 6 shots to get wild, bro.
Shots.
Well, sounds good. We were just getting done talking some NBA, so it's kind of perfect timing to jump into some NHL.
You're right, because I don't want to talk about that shit.
Right? Now when hockey playoffs are going on. So speaking of which, what'd you think? I'll just start with the end of the Rangers-Carolina series and what you thought of it. And, what do you think the Rangers' chances are here in conference finals, which start, I believe, tomorrow, right?
Yeah. Obviously I was disappointed in the outcome. Not going to lie.
Well, you did pick Carolina as your cup favorites, too, though. So I can see why it was a little bit on both ends disappointing.
What's wild, too, is like I haven't had a chance to watch a lot, but it was a big game, and the kids were asleep, so I was able to flip it on. Carolina was up 3-1. And when I turned it on, I said, I should probably turn this off, or the Rangers are going to win if I watch this game. But as I watched it, Carolina through the second period had a lot of the momentum. They were getting a lot of odd man rushes, and Shesterkin stood on his head. He made a lot of big saves to keep him in the game. And then, I can't deny a guy that I've always actually respected, regardless of what crappy jersey he wears, is Kreider. I've always liked Kreider. I've always thought he was a good player. He comes up in big moments. I mean, what a performance from the captain. Could you ask for anything else out of your captain? He just found ways to find the back of the net. And that post-game interview was funny. They asked him, hey, were you in the locker room saying, I think I'm going to get one? And then when you got one, did you think you were going to get another one or another one? And he's like, I just went out and tried to play my game. And then they cut over to Trocheck, and Trocheck was like, no. He said he felt like he was going to get one. And then he got 3. So he gets a lot of respect from his teammates in that locker room before he did that. Now, obviously, he's the guy. If they go on to make me throw up and want to kill myself by winning the Stanley Cup, one of these two, like if they win the cup, it's going to, I might be standing there thinking about it, like, 3 times my salary for my wife, and maybe I'll just walk in front of this car right now. But
Please don't.
Yeah, we'd really appreciate it if you did not do that.
No, I won't do that. I'm not that crazy. You don't have to call the hotline. I know they say if people joke about it, call the hotline. Don't call the hotline. I'm just kidding.
I mean, that's
I don't
a
actually.
story.
But
I know you are a little crazy.
A little bit. But, if they went on to win it, I think that performance, I don't care what happens the rest of the playoffs. That performance, I feel like if Carolina wins that game 6, I think they go into the Garden and they smoke them game 7. I think they suck all the life.
Yeah.
So to me, that hat trick was kind of like, you could compare it to the Messier hat trick, even though that had an empty netter. But for me, it was more like that team-changing moment when, like, Stevens in a series would knock somebody out. And then all of a sudden the Devils from there would start playing, Like, that was not just a series-changing moment, but a team-changing moment throughout the rest of the playoffs. I was impressed. As disappointed as I was to see it, it was still great to watch it, and being able to say that's one of the games I got to watch this playoffs instead of just looking at box scores. Because looking at a box score wouldn't have done it justice. And the way he found himself open, I'm not sure. I think it was the 3rd goal. I'm not sure how the defenseman let him go, but I don't know. It was just very impressive. I'm about to pull up and grab my shot, so you guys can fill time.
All right.
So, quick question for you guys. Does anybody know what a natural hat trick is?
A natural hat trick.
Oh, you're still there.
I knew Fife would know.
Oh.
Okay, but what Kreider did is a natural hat trick, scoring 3 goals in 1 period.
Is that what a natural hat trick is? Is just scoring 3 goals
in 1 period? Yes.
Natural hat trick is actually it doesn't have to be in 1 period. A natural hat trick is scoring 3 goals in a row. All like if you score 3, it could be you score 1 in the first, second, or third, but you're the only one who scores 3 goals in that time frame, and then all even strength. So no power play goals.
I'm
That's
an
a
idiot.
natural hat trick.
I misread
Ah,
that.
all right.
It's all good, though. That's why
that-
we have you on here, Fife.
Yeah, that was bad. Well, I
Unless
watched
they
that.
change, unless they change the definition, and I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's it could be throughout the game.
No, I mean, listen, it was a hell of a game for Kreider, hell of a third period. And it's one that, especially if the Rangers go on to win, that will be a defining moment of the run for sure. But talking about the playoffs overall, looking at the Final Four right now, do you think that this is like the best four teams? I mean, you got 3 number 1 seeds, and the Oilers are number 2. But I mean, they got otherworldly talent on that team, so they could easily be a 1 seed too. So to me, this is a really solid Final Four. Just what are your overall thoughts? Do you think this is the 4 best teams in the NHL here in the Final Four?
I mean, even if people would disagree with it, and even if somebody said it's not, I don't think anyone would be disappointed with who's there and the games they get to watch.
Yeah.
I'm thinking it's going to be a Florida-Dallas final, but,
I was actually thinking the opposite. I was thinking Rangers-Oilers myself. I don't know why.
Oh, see, I think Stars Rangers, actually. That's what I think it's going to be.
I'm just an Oilers fan right now. That's all I am.
So you going Oilers Rangers or Oilers
Connor
Panthers?
McDavid, let's go.
So who's the other team who's coming out of the East? then?
Panthers.
So we're all different then. Every
Yeah.
single one of us has a different combination, and I guess that goes to show the strength here.
yeah, I think, and I mean, I've been wrong for a lot of the playoffs, but I think, I just don't think you're going to. Florida has the guys who can put the puck in the back of the net, maybe a little more so than Carolina, and you're not going to be able to get outplayed. As good as Shesterkin is, you're not going to be able to get outplayed like they did and squeak wins out like they did in that Carolina series. So I know they won the series 4-2. In my opinion, it was a little bit fugazi, but I just feel like if they get outplayed like that against Florida, and if Florida has those guys who are going to get in, there's one knock on Shesterkin is that he can be emotional. So they're going to have guys trying to get under his skin, and if he lets that happen, it's going to be a tough series for them.
Do you think there's any chance that? I mean, he's played the whole playoffs so far, right? I don't know. Has Quick even gotten a start yet? Is there any chance they may think to use him, especially in the beginning of the series, or no?
I don't think in the beginning. I think if they, I don't know. It's hard because they got in a situation where they went up 3-0. They lost 2. I thought they would go to him in Game 6 just to give Shesterkin a little break, and he's fully capable of winning them a playoff game. But if he didn't, then have Shesterkin fresh for 7. But they didn't go that route. So I think at this point, once you get to the conference finals, if you got your guy, you play your guy.
I mean, I think you're right when it comes down to how Carolina was going up against the Rangers, and it looked a little fugazi with it, especially the way the shots were dominated. But I think the one thing was how well Igor played, and I mean, I think Florida is one of those teams where it's going to be a race to 4 goals. Right, like you got to get to like 4 or 5 goals, and I think both teams have the ability to get there. And whose goalie can keep it to 3 or less? Because that's really kind of how I look at this series from what I got to watch so far of each team in the playoffs.
Well, right, and then there's like the big difference between Bobrovsky and Shesterkin. Like Bobrovsky, if he makes a big save or gets scored on, like he is the same. Like he doesn't let himself get too high. He doesn't let himself get too low. If you watch him, he resets himself the same way between whistles and after big plays, whether he scored on or not. And so he just keeps himself even keel throughout. Shesterkin does that well, but he has been known to, like I said, let guys get under his skin. And Kachuk and those guys and Reinhart, Barkov, they're all going to be up in front, and they're going to be bumping them, and they're going to be chipping them, and they're going to be, maybe trying to dig some pucks out after a whistle or when he's got his glove on it before the whistle. So it's it's going to be interesting. The ball corner for Erich.
Oh my god. He's got to get his shots of espresso, ladies and gentlemen. For those of you that don't know,
The court.
he's our guy. But
I'm sorry about that.
We gotta let him get his espresso. It's all good.
He's got a night shift.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. I sat behind the car in front of me for like 3 minutes or whatever it was. I don't know, maybe longer. While they were picking their nose reading the menu, and then I do a mobile order, so I just pull up with my hand out the window. The chick went to grab my hand. I'm like, I got a mobile order.
Maybe
what are
she
we
just
doing
wanted
here?
a little affection.
No.
Well, maybe that's why she pulled back so fast. She saw the wedding ring on my finger. She's like, oh man.
She's like, damn, he's taken.
Yeah,
Well,
that voice gets them, and then I pull up, and they're like, oh shit, look at this guy.
That's how we all react.
Well, let me ask
the
you,
voice gets you, and then you see me.
speaking of your, how many shots of espresso is it? 6?
What's that?
How many shots of espresso is it? 6?
I throw 6 shots. I get the iced shaken espresso.
I asked this because that's the perfect number. That any of these games or any of these series, the Oilers, Stars, Panthers, Rangers, anybody going less than 6 games?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Maybe Oilers Stars. I honestly think the Stars are that good, and they have the edge between the pipes.
I just think
But,
overall the Stars play with so much confidence. They look so relaxed out there, and just they know what they're supposed to do, where they're supposed to go, how they're trying to play. They just genuinely look like probably the best hockey team I've watched throughout the playoffs.
But I got to agree with you guys too that it definitely, I don't see any of these series going less than 6. I think they may end in 6, one of them, but I don't think they go less than 6.
So, do you remember when McDavid stick the stick to the mouth, and we're like, whatever, it happens hockey.
Yeah.
But you asked if if Edmonton was going to respond in any way, and I said if they didn't, then that would be why they lost the series, right? So now I can't say for sure whether or not there was any type of physical response for what had happened. I don't believe there was a fight, but I don't know if things got a little chippy. But Edmonton has their own way of responding. They're so skillful that they just came out and played high-paced hockey. They played fast, and they won games, and that's how they responded to what happened. They got hit in the mouth, and then they came back and hit them in the mouth their way. Whether it was physical or not didn't matter. I just was impressed by, it was basically like, all right, fuck these guys, let's go. And then, one other thing that's happened in these playoffs, aside from the Rangers they got knocked down last year by the Devils, which I've been on record saying, even as a Devils fan, like, the Devils had no business winning that series. They hardened themselves. They try-harded themselves through that series and got smoked by Carolina. But as for the other teams that are there, they're all playoff battle-tested teams. And I don't think that's any mistake. Like, that's why when you say Dallas plays cool, calm, and collected, they just play their game and they look so good at doing it, it's because they've been there. So that's where it's a little bit of a different ride for the Rangers. Like, they're still kind of figuring it out. And this playoffs, they haven't had their backs up against the wall yet. So it's going to be interesting to see how they respond when their backs are up against the wall, because I think it's going to happen against Florida.
I mean, so you're saying something like going down 2-0 or, in a situation like that? Because we all know 3-0 is basically a death sentence. So you're saying just even going down 2-0 or just even one game?
I'm thinking maybe Game 7.
Yeah,
I think that series is going 7.
Yeah.
I think it's going 7, and I think that's going to be the pivotal part of it. Is Florida's been in those situations before. These Rangers really haven't. When they were, it was against the Devils, and they lost badly, mind you, to a team that they were. I'm not doing that to rub it in. To a team that they were better than. And it's obvious that they were better than them. I mean, I know the Devils lost pieces and stuff, but the fall off was expected because of what they lost, and then they didn't have Dougie all year, whatever. I'm not making excuses. I'm just saying the Rangers had a better team. The difference this year is their young guys, Lafreniere and Kako, are playing better hockey. So they're getting contributions from those guys that they weren't getting in that first round last year.
Yeah, even a guy like Rempe, too. I mean, as far as young guys go, I mean, he's come in.
He's a plug.
Yeah, but for now, I mean, he's filling the hole the Rangers need. You know, they're without. They've had Wheeler out. You know, although I've heard rumblings that he's somehow making his way back. Cheeto, I think, is just coming back as well. So I mean, they have some guys, but again, to your point, they're not maybe as battle tested as some of these other teams. But I still have faith in them. I think they're having a special season, and yeah, we're gonna have to see where it goes from there. But
I mean,
let's go Rangers.
Let's be honest. In the playoffs, it's hard to put Rempe in your lineup. All right, you're not fighting in the playoffs. Maybe, the guy's playing 5 minutes a game, and come the third period in big games, he's not seeing a lick of ice time. Not stepping foot on the ice. He's a plug. He's going to be a regular season guy who plays in the games where they need an enforcer, and that's one thing he's got going for him. As Florida is a big physical team. And they might need a guy like Rempe on the bench just to create space on the ice. And I know what that means. Hockey people know what that means. I don't know if you guys exactly know what that means. It's a long explanation. I could try and shorten it up. But, having him out there creates room. Just being on the bench creates room. Knowing he's there, his presence creates room for the scorers. Because you can't get chippy on the scores, or he's coming out, and you're gonna have to answer the bell, and that's a tough bell to answer. But honestly, he's not been much to contribute. I mean, I know in the first game against Washington he scored, or second game, or whatever it was, but he hasn't been much of a contributor as far as ice time in the big games.
All right. I agree with you there. I can't argue it because you're 100% right. Late in games, he hasn't been playing down the stretch, but I just look at it as overall. Again, like you said, kind of just having him there sometimes makes it a little bit of a difference. So we'll see how the series goes for him and for all four of these teams overall. But I think we can all agree these are going to be two series that are going to be a lot of fun to watch.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Well, I don't know. We're going to jump into some, I guess, NFL next, right? I mean, it's not necessarily draft, but...
I was like, wait.
Yeah, I was like, wait, what, did I miss something?
It's the only little noise I got for it. But I don't know if you got any early thoughts while we got you for another minute or two on the Giants schedule that came out. I don't know if you had a chance to look at it and if you had any early thoughts on it.
The only thing I know is I absolutely hate those hideous jerseys.
Yes.
Oh, God, those are disgusting.
They've been growing on me ever so slightly. And not growing on me
Who are
because
they,
of
the
anything.
Montreal Canadians?
No, but apparently they did it because this is like back in the 30s or something. The way the uniforms look, I just wish. I wish if I could change the one thing about the uniform, I wish I could change is I would flip the red and the blue.
Yes,
the blue should be the
agree.
big spot in the middle. The red should be the accents. That's what I would change about it. But other than that, I hope they don't wear them more than the twice they're scheduled to.
If I could hit the stop it, get help.
Oh, you mean like this?
Stop it.
Yes.
Get some help.
Like, are we serious here? All right, first and foremost, lose the beige pants. Give me blue, give me gray, give me white. I don't care.
I agree.
Give me
They should have
red.
been blue pants.
Get
They
rid
should
of
have
the-
been blue
Get rid
pants.
of the freaking beige pants.
Should have been blue.
And secondly, and to me, most importantly, and Eric, I cannot believe you didn't say this was the number one thing that bothers you. How is there not going to be an NY on the side of that helmet?
The NY doesn't bother me because I much prefer when we were growing up and it said Giants on the side of the helmet.
Whatever.
You're gonna make a
Give
change.
me-
I
give
put
me
the
one-
Giants
give me
back on the
one
side of the
like,
helmet.
I don't know, man. That to me,
It looks
was
a little
the
too
worst
Michigan
part.
style for me, in my opinion.
I don't
Just
know.
in
That's
like,
even worse.
but in like a red and blue style instead of blue and yellow.
Oh,
It's a
man.
freaking Michigan helmet. I'm a Penn State fan. What do we got going on here?
I think
Giants are
that
called Big Blue for a reason, right?
that's my contention with the
Where's the
uniform.
black?
That's my contention
Where's
with the
the blue?
uniform is the blue should
That
be in the
was
middle.
So ugly.
But
I hate it.
it's kind of like the Rangers alternate jerseys this year, where people weren't super high on them, but I didn't mind them so much. The ones that they played in the
Devils were the
Classic
best.
or was it the Winter
Yeah,
Classic
yeah,
or
the
Stadium
Oh, okay.
Series?
The Stadium Series.
the
Stadium Series.
Devils were good, but the black one you told
Yeah,
me.
The
the
black
black
one was
was
sweet. The
right.
Devils
Right.
one was nice, but the Rangers one grew on me too. It did. But I don't
you're
know.
also a fan of the Rangers,
Other than the uniform, any game stand out to you? Anything you're looking forward to? Just looking at the early part of the season, or any part of the season, really?
I mean, Thanksgiving will be fun to watch the Giants on Thanksgiving. I'll be down in Florida for that. So it's it's when I'm down in Florida for Thanksgiving, I don't get Red Zone. Hang on a second, dude. I'm watching this guy trying to back. He's blocking a main road right now, trying to back his trailer into his freaking driveway. I got to punch into work in 6 minutes. This guy has gone back and forth 5 times already. Like, but park it in the fucking shoulder and get the fuck out of the way. Like, dude, we're at number 7. We're at number 7, dude. I'm giving him a standing ovation when I drive by him. I swear to fuck. You guys want to stay on the phone for that?
Oh my god!
You got it.
Here we go. Wait. We almost got it. Wait. And we're just stopped in the middle of the fucking road now. And the Mexican guy, I'm sorry, the Spanish American gentleman is getting out of his other truck now to go direct him. I have to go to work, sir. You know, you may be. Oh, and we're pulling on the shoulder. All right, he gave up. He gave up.
He didn't get it in.
He gave up. He gave up. Here we go. Ready? Window down. Window down. Hey! Oh, Jesus Christ. Sorry.
No. Well, speaking of things that
I mean,
aggravate
it's a 40-mile-an-hour road. It's a 40-mile-an-hour road. I gotta go to work. All right, you guys don't care about that. Let's go back to sports.
Well, I was gonna say, speaking of things that are aggravating, what do you think of the Giants playing at 9:30 in the morning against the Carolina Panthers in Germany?
Why do we keep sending shitty games there? Like, if the whole purpose is to grow the sport, let the Chiefs play the Bills or something over there. You know, what are we doing here?
I don't know what we're doing, but it's not anything good. And it's not a game worth waking up at 9:30 for, I can tell you that. It's not a game worth waking up at 9:30 for.
No.
My kids are up at 5:30 in the morning, so I'll be up.
But are you going to be watching it? Are they going to want to watch the Giant game, or are they going to want to watch something else?
Cartoons.
Well, I'm sure I'll be watching the game on my phone while Blippi's on the big 55-inch.
That's the exact reason you got a 55-inch, right? So you can watch Blippi.
So I watch, Elmo, Sesame Street.
Yeah, I thought so. I mean, that seems like you're still.
Elmo's World. Sorry.
Listen, it's all right. Listen, but I like you said, you'll at least be looking at the score on your phone or watching it on your phone. But
yeah, I watch every game. I don't care what time it is. They can play it at 6 in the morning. I watch the games. I love the Giants. They could be, even when they're out of it, and you know this is going to be a terrible season. I mean, I watch so I can criticize them as a armchair coach who doesn't really know anything but acts like I do.
yeah, and listen, I will say, at least they only have one game on streaming. They only have one Prime Video game against Dallas, but it's against Dallas on a Thursday night.
That's so stupid. Dallas and the
Why
Giants
would the
play
Giants
on
and Dallas
Thursdays.
play on a Thursday? They're already playing on a Thursday
Thanksgiving.
for Thanksgiving. Why are they playing on another
So both
Thursday
their
at
games
prime
are on a
time?
Thursday?
Yeah.
So we're sending terrible games overseas, and we're playing divisional games on the worst night to play divisional.
It's definitely no field day start to the Giants schedule. Holy crap! This is the first time I'm looking at it.
Why? They could beat Minnesota. They could.
They should definitely be able to beat Minnesota
And Washington. They should
They're
start
going to
2-0.
lose at Washington because they'll beat Washington in New York. They'll lose.
They're going to
at
lose to
Washington.
Jaden Daniels making his second start?
Yes. they're
No,
gonna lose
I'm
to-
sorry. They're not
gonna lose
losing
to
that
Washington,
game.
lose to Cleveland, lose to Dallas, probably lose to Seattle, probably lose to Cincy, probably lose to Philly.
Guys, I got to bounce. I got to go clock in. I'm running late.
All right.
All right.
Man, thanks for hopping on with us,
Thanks.
brother. Have a good night.
We'll talk to you soon. Stay
Thanks
safe
for
out
having
there.
me, guys. Thanks for
And-
listening. Thanks for listening to me word bombing. I appreciate it.
Anytime, my friend. Anytime. We'll talk soon. Thanks again.
Later.
So, Dave, you're so far off on this. So if the Giants are going to have any success this season, they have to start 2-0. Because who knows what's going to happen again? Like you said, Cleveland and Dallas, but they have to beat a Seattle. Because they're probably going to lose to a Cincinnati and a Philly.
But
they have to beat a Pittsburgh. They have to beat Washington. They have to beat Carolina. They have to beat Tampa. Because if they don't beat these teams, then you're telling me there's not a win on this schedule. Because you think they're going to Atlanta and winning against Kirk Cousins in Atlanta?
I mean,
not?
why
Do you
not?
think they're winning
Is
at
it
home against
no,
Baltimore?
It's not prime time. It's not prime time.
But I'm just saying, it's, again, not primetime Kirk Cousins is a lot better than primetime
Look,
Kirk
when
Cousins.
it's all said and done, we know how it is, right? We don't even know who the final rosters are of these teams, what their outlook's going to be like. And honestly, you don't really know what a football team is until you're probably your fourth or fifth game of the year. So anything could happen. They could start 0-2 and then go to Cleveland and beat Cleveland and then beat Dallas in New York. Like,
You don't know.
There's really no way of telling, but do I look at the Giants' schedule and see a schedule that gets them into the playoffs? Not a chance. That I will say with confidence. I don't think there's a chance.
I look at this schedule and I think there's a chance. I mean, we could play the win-loss, win game if you want.
No, not at this point. Doing that, mine would change
next week.
5 different times.
No, we could do that towards the season. But
Yeah,
I'm just saying, like, I'm looking at it and just roughly right now, they have to get the Washington games, both of them. They have to get the Minnesota game. They have to get the Tampa game, the New Orleans game, the Seattle game, Carolina, Atlanta.
You got to split with Philly.
And they probably have to beat Indy, and that might get them to 9.
I think
9
they'll be
and
around
8.
7 and 9 wins. Yeah, that seems about right.
If they overperform, if Daniel Jones comes in and plays like, first year Daniel Jones under Dable. But I know you're laughing because we have no
I'm
chance.
sorry, Daniel Jones, even his first year under Dable, did not put up some statistically amazing season.
I'm kind of hoping you guys
he
screw
was
things up
very
with Dallas.
smart with the ball.
I'm kind of hoping you guys screw things up with
They
that.
already are screwing things up in Dallas. Are you kidding?
But that's what I mean is I need them to keep doing that, not sign Dak. And then this way, after this
Mike
year...
is up for an extension. CD's up for an extension. Dak's up for an extension. Not a single... There's differing people that say there's no talks occurring at all between those three players and the Cowboys, and then there's other people that say there are.
You gotta have
I don't
some sort of talks.
really freaking know. I will say this: Dallas has always paid their guys. Now, what that means for Dak Prescott at this point of his career, I don't know. But CD and Parsons, I would expect to be re-signed either way. But they are making a shit show in Dallas, and it's very, very disappointing and nerve-wracking to think about where they might be leading this team. And schedule-wise, you don't even have to pull it up. I went through it 3 times. I've got them between 9 and 11 wins. I just can't figure out a couple games.
For the Giants?
For the Cowboys.
Okay.
So I know, I'm just saying, so you don't even worry about pulling up their schedule. They're making a mess of shit. So Dak on a contract year where he can't be franchise tagged, he can't be traded, he can't be anything. He has Dallas by the balls. If he plays the way he played like he did last year,
He's gonna get
there's
60.
plenty of teams that'll give him the money that he's looking for.
The Giants.
So
The Niners.
I mean, Dak has him by the nuts, and that's why they haven't re-signed him, because his agent's probably looking at him like, guys, you can't win this negotiation. You either pay me what I'm asking you to pay him now,
Pay that man his
or
money.
you wait till he has another MVP caliber season, and then every team in the NFL can bid on him, and then you can get into a bidding war for your quarterback. You figure it the hell out. I get, if that agent didn't basically make that type of statement, which he probably didn't, he probably was a lot more professional about it, but underlying tones were, we've got you by the nuts, figure out when you're going to sign that check. So not between 9 and 11 wins, I just can't figure out 2 or 3 games. So anyway, Jets, good to go.
Yeah.
Or maybe Jerry Jones wants Brock Purdy for half the price of a Dak Prescott.
San Fran's not trading back Purdy.
They already traded for Trey Lance. So, I mean, Trey Lance is their backup plan, which, by the way, I've been hearing nothing but positive things coming out about Trey Lance from Dallas.
Yeah, but all you need to know is they didn't pick up his 5th-year option.
No, they did not. Correct.
Yes, maybe it would have been more expensive than what you could have got him for after the season's over. But at the same time, let's say, God forbid, Dak gets hurt and Trey Lance goes out there and balls out. Guess what? Your only option is a franchise tag where you're still going to pay him around $45-50 million because he gave you 4 or 5 good games. Like, they have literally pinned themselves in a corner. And
or you do what Jordan Love did. You give him like a 1 year, like, what do you get? A $20 million deal for 1 year? And just, let's rock.
Jordan Love?
No.
Jordan Love's on his rookie contract.
Oh, is he still?
Yeah.
I thought.
And they picked up his 5th-year option.
Oh, maybe
you want to
that's
go
what
after
I'm thinking
Justin Fields if that's who you're thinking of.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking. I thought they declined his 4th-year option, gave him a 1-year deal to prove himself.
No, his 5th-year option's worth about 17-18 million. So he'll make some money, earn his money, and then he can take it from there. But the Jets, though, if Aaron Rodgers is healthy, the Jets should be competing for this division.
The only thing I don't like about the Jets' schedule is their first 3 games. They play 3 games in 10 days. Like, that's a little crazy. Right off.
Oh, you guys play on
bat.
Thursday the week before Dallas and the Giants.
Yeah, that's our home opener. Home opener's on a Thursday night. I hate
After
that.
traveling to San Fran and then traveling to Tennessee. Now, don't get me wrong. Tennessee is like a 3-hour flight. Like, that's nothing crazy, but, like, still.
No, and
It's
then
a short
after
week,
that,
too.
2 weeks after that, they have to go to their overseas game playing Minnesota at 9:30
Yeah,
a.m.
in Germany, I believe. I really like the schedule, though. This is the first time in a while I feel like the Jets actually have a favorable schedule. Every year I'm like, oof, how are they gonna win?
That's
10
the hill
games
I'll
this
die on.
game?
I think this is brutal.
I
Because
don't-
I'm gonna real quick. San Fran's a loss.
Nope,
Buffalo's a loss.
can't say that.
Houston's a loss.
They split with Buffalo last year.
Miami's a loss.
All right, so you're at 4 losses at week 14.
Well, no. But then Buffalo and Miami again. I think they get swept there.
So that's 6
I think you're
losses. That's
crazy.
still 11-6.
I think you're crazy.
And I think they lose another
I
random
don't
1 or
think
2 in there
They're
somewhere.
not going to get swept by Buffalo. They might get swept by Miami, but Miami's D is not as good. They split last year. The worst I see them doing in division is 3-3.
I
Honestly.
see them at the 11-6 number we just talked about. That's where I see them. I see them at 11-6. However they get there, maybe they win.
That's a playoff team. That may be not a division winner playoff team, but that's definitely a playoff team.
That could be a
and
division winner.
6 or 7,
Buffalo,
I think.
And who's Buffalo got that replaced Stephon Diggs?
Keon Coleman, baby.
No, and then they picked up. Did they pick up Scantling, Valdez Scantling?
MVS, they picked up a bunch of dudes.
Cool.
The kid from
Mr.
Chase
Dropsies.
Claypool.
And they didn't
Chase-
draft
oh,
somebody. They
and they
traded
picked-
the pick to Kansas City to draft another.
And they picked up Chase Claypool. That lets you know where they're at when they think
still
of their
have Shaquille-
wide receivers.
Stop
it.
Shakir and Khalil Shakir. Is that his name?
I mean,
Guy
they
from
got a
last
good
year.
defense
Listen.
again.
I honestly think Miami
Dalton
could win the
Kincaid.
division.
I think Miami can win the division.
And then
as
I think
well.
Buffalo takes the 2nd seed in the division. I think the Jets are right in line with them. But I think that's why they end up maybe like 6, 7 seed. But again, this is all on Rodgers staying healthy.
Agreed on
If
that.
he isn't healthy and goes down by week 4, 5, 6, 7, you could write off the
7, 8
rest of the
wins again.
schedule.
7, 8
Because
wins again.
who's backing him up this year?
Tyrod Taylor.
So they spend money on a backup then.
They were smart.
no.
They traded Zach Wilson away.
We say yes, it's smart, but if you depend on Tyrod, he's gonna go down because he always gets hurt whenever.
Well, you don't want to
takes over
depend on
starting.
Tyrod, but if Tyrod's got to step in and play a game or 2, I think you're not going to be.
You're
mad
in better
about
shape
it.
than
Yeah.
you were with Zach Wilson.
No, I'm with
But
that,
I
but
still
You're
think
better-
the season's lost if that's the direction.
I'm with you with 11 wins. I honestly think they could possibly even get 12, maybe even 13.
Well, if they split the way you think,
I think they could split.
if they split there,
And I actually think for once we have a favorable schedule that we could actually get into the playoffs with. We're the longest team in North American sports without a playoff, right?
I mean, yeah.
I think this is the year, finally. I don't love the 6 primetime games. Maybe I know the league said like the Jets owe us. And I think that's because Rodgers got hurt, and that's what they mean by that. Like, oh, now Rodgers is going to be healthy.
We're giving it another go. He took his Asawaga and locked
did you hear what he said though? That he came out and said that if he retired, he would have been the VP pick.
I heard that
and I'm
too.
like, how arrogant are you? That like,
He's extremely arrogant, but he's a hell of a football player. And
but is he a hell of a VP? I don't think so.
no, I also don't think he's a hell of a human being either. But what do I know? I never met him before, and
You know who he's apparently good friends with? I heard this today too. I didn't know. Or who he's developed a friendship with? Marcus Stroman.
Cool.
Crossed it over into some baseball
Cool.
here, some Yankees. He's apparently, I think he was at the Yankee game as a guest of maybe Stroman's or something.
I
Yeah,
love
he
it.
was definitely at the Yankee game. I saw.
I think that was
because
So I'm pretty sure that I heard that they've been just interesting
Let some
meeting
of,
of the minds
let
there.
some of that greatness rub off on the Stroman. I love it. Let's go. Stroman's been pitching great this year.
Oh, speaking of which, not to get it. I mean, we can kind of get off the schedule stuff now, but I don't know if you've heard, but Cole threw 22 pitches off the mound today. Apparently, he's going to do that a couple more times. Said he felt really good. Apparently, he had his fastball up to 96, and they had to tell him, dial it back down there, buddy. It's your first time on the mound. We don't need you blowing your arm out on your first contact.
No rush,
So,
bro. If you want to come back by the All-Star break,
no, they're saying about
fine.
a month. They're saying, which is probably about the All-Star break. So I'm imagining right after the All-Star break is when we're going to probably see him come in. That's what I think.
Take your time, boy. Take your time. Well, our pitching staff is pitching great. We got this rookie, Luis Eels.
Second in baseball, only to what, the Phillies? I think they're like a game better than us in all baseball. I think that's it.
Yeah.
I heard the Mets started sucking again.
Yeah, they did,
Oh, yeah.
unfortunately.
Yeah, they have not been...
And I'm sorry to hear that because I always want the Mets to be at least competitive.
See, I
don't want
never
them to
hated
suck.
the Mets.
I don't want them to
As
suck.
much as,
Mets
as
fan-
Mike used to think I hated the Mets, they were just like the kid brother in the relationship. It's kind of like, they were like, oh, like they're cute. They're
You
over
keep
there.
trying.
But,
You'll grow up one day.
but
Don't
they
you
weren't
worry about it.
exactly. But we didn't hate them. But I feel that hatred was more on the Mets side of things than the Yankees
because
side
you
of
hate
things.
the things that you can't have, or hate the people that have the things you can't have.
I think this is good though for the Mets. They're gonna blow it up. They're gonna trade Alonso. I think if somebody wants Lindor, they'll trade Lindor, and it's gonna open up the books. And for Mr. Soto's a free agent next year. It lines up perfectly for.
You shut your mouth right now.
wait.
You shut your mouth right now.
That. We're Yankee fans. I
You
should be
shut your mouth when
putting
you're
that
talking to
in
me.
ether.
Get out of my house.
But it lines up perfectly.
Blasphemy, I
It
say.
does.
Blasphemy.
Why would you trade Alonso when you have a superstar going to be a free agent next year looking to get paid beyond what Otani's getting paid?
Yeah.
And Mr.
I don't think he's going to get over that. I think he's going to get somewhere in the range of 55 to 60.
I'm with you.
I think that's where, but again, that's still the most
this
for
is-
just a position
this is why
player
I'm
ever.
thinking
Otani at least does pitch.
They're going to clear the books for him. I honestly believe that. And Met fans, I know you're going to miss Pete Alonso. He's one of your great Met ever. He holds, what, home run record, right? Does he hold the home run record?
For the Mets, probably.
I literally have no idea.
The polar bear, man, but he's not gonna be worth 30-40 million dollars a year. First basemen just go for like 20 million bucks. He's an average player. He's an below average defender. He's just a power hitter. And
As a passive Met fan, Dave, how do you feel? Would you want to keep Alonso? As a guy who doesn't always, give your full undivided attention to baseball,
Not
but
even
clearly you know who Pete Alonso is.
Yes.
Clearly you've rooted for the Mets and seen them play some kind of baseball game.
Yes.
As a casual fan, will you miss him? Do you care about Pete Alonso? Is that a guy where you're going to tune in to a random game and be like, oh man, I kind of miss having Alonso out there? Or is he just somebody that you're like, is what it is, and I'll forget about him in 2-3 years?
Most likely forget about him in 2-3 years. But he does keep when the Mets play and he makes a play. He's basically the only player I ever see on my Twitter feed. I'm sorry, X feed. So I will miss that. I'll say that. So that's what I got for you.
All right.
Sorry for the lean forward. My back's just starting to hurt.
No, you're good. I only really have
getting
one more
old.
thing to bring up with you tonight anyway. And real quick, where's my little... There it is.
Knuckleheaded news
Of the week. I don't know if you guys heard this, and I'm bringing it full circle back to basketball. But have you guys heard the news about the NBA on NBC?
Oh yeah, because the TNT lost their broadcasting rights.
So do you know what that means?
No
and who
more.
they've been in contact with?
I heard no more Charles, right? Charles, Shaq, and
Does this
Ernie.
Kenny.
tell me if this
and
rings a
Ernie.
bell? Hang on. Yes, I am.
All right, 2, 3, 4.
Basketball, give me the ball because I'm gonna. You remember that? Remember the So I don't know if we'll get flagged for that at some point, but I only played a couple seconds.
Really
of it,
sorry,
so I'm hoping,
guys. Please forgive us.
I'm hoping not, but
I think you're good for up to a certain amount.
regardless, I just wanted to give you guys the rhythm of it because it's hard to explain a song that I forget what it's even called, to be honest with you. But John Tesh has been contacted by NBC, and I think in July they have the recording, the orchestra, and everybody coming together to remake the NBA on NBC theme song.
Cool.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Shaq and Kenny and Charles and Ernie. I mean, Ernie Johnson, just the way he's like
He's a great human being too. If you look into him, he's actually a phenomenal human being.
But like to think how he manages that set and keeps the guys like on track and working with them, they'll be missed. I won't deny that. Shaq and Charles have been entertaining me, making me laugh for a while.
I don't know how they don't get brought to another. They'll get brought to another network. Probably not all as a team like they are now. But
They've been together for so long anyway. It's shocking that they've been together this long.
so I kind of like to see NBC try to grab those guys and bring them in for something. But it is sad to leave that part because that is a
down for something
phenomenal little show they got there.
Yeah, but like at the same time, like I'm not gonna miss like Reggie Miller broadcasting a game.
No.
You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, if they go back old NBC wise, you could get Marv Albert.
Yeah, I'd be more than okay with Marv Albert, man. He's
cool.
good in my book. Just don't bring me anybody
Is Tirico still
that's
there
boring.
on NBC?
I don't think so. I don't know where Tirico is nowadays, to be honest with
No,
you.
Reggie and Reggie was a savage after the Knicks got eliminated. His little Instagram post was pretty savage.
Well, I don't blame him.
And Halliburton rocking the choke hoodie, that had me laughing. I was like, damn.
Yeah, 'cause you're not a Knicks fan.
Why,
That's why
did he
laugh.
wear it before the
That's just
game?
funny,
Why did he
so.
only wear it after the game?
Because
He had no balls to walk in the studio,
but-
into the arena with it. He had no balls to do
but
that.
Did they choke yet? No, they had to choke first.
Reggie Miller would have walked in with that.
Reggie had the balls to do it.
He definitely did.
This guy didn't.
No, I think Halliburton's a little bitch. I won't argue with that at all. I thought the hoodie was funny as hell, but like, sorry, but that Indy could have won this series in less than 7 games if he actually showed up in 3 of the games.
Mm-hmm.
Like, at least one of those games, Indy would have won. Like, they could have taken a game in New York in the first 2 games if Halliburton didn't just turn into a turtle and go into his shell. Like, by the way, sorry, not to bring that back. You want to talk about full circle? That's full circle for you, my friend.
And with that, that's all I got for you guys.
Wait, so am I the only one that had a true die on this hill today?
Well, no, I mean, I'm dying on the hill that I don't think that the Jets go better than 11-6. I'll say that.
I don't think that's a real.
No,
I think that's kind of like a lump.
I love the hill that you're gonna die on. Love it.
Yeah.
That means
like
11-6.
That's a playoff spot.
take it.
Let's go.
Yeah, I don't know if that's worth dying on. So, yeah, I guess you were
I
the
guess
die on the hill winner
yeah,
for
I mean,
tonight.
Joe, do you have anything that's happened or a hill you're feeling like dying on? I mean, anything?
I'm just a little shocked. Caitlin Clark hasn't really been lighting it up in the WNBA. Not that I'm actually shocked about that.
Team's
because
0-4.
2 months ago she was in college and has yet. It's not like
She had
had
10 turnovers in whatever
That-
first appearance.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
really. She's really getting acclimated to the league very quickly. 10 turnovers in a game is
But again,
not
it's shit.
like her. It's realizing that the program is a lot quicker than the college
Well, when
game.
and when you come in as hyped as she was, she immediately had a target on her back.
Right
With these
away.
girls, there's
Right
nobody that was
away.
taking it easy on her.
Nope.
When she's posting selfies of herself saying first charter on their way to the game, and yet the team they're playing is riding the bus still.
Yeah, no,
They're going to come out and smack her in the
I
mouth.
think
And I'm
it's gonna
glad
be-
because she needs to get a piece of that humble
Get a little
pie.
humbled
I
up.
think it's going to
She
be
needs to get humbled a little
long
bit.
rookie year for Caitlin Clark. I really
Right.
do. I think she'll figure it out and eventually start popping threes left and right. But it's going to be a long.
I mean,
rookie year.
she's played. They're 0-4. She's had one actual good game that last night where they lost her teammate blew the game-winning layup with less than 5 seconds left, and the opponent had no. I can't remember who they were playing now, but they had
the
no,
Sun.
they had no timeouts, so they would have to chuck it from 3/4 court to have a chance to even win the game. And her teammate blew a layup that she should have made. So I mean, she almost got her first dub. I'll give her that. She's had one good game individually. But 2 of the 4 games that they've played so far, you want to talk about getting their best shot. The person that's matched up with her has gotten almost a triple-double. The girl last night had 29, 14, and 9. Like, she went at Caitlin Clark and was like, I'm going to show you how good you need to be to play in this league. And I mean,
She came in thinking it was going to be just like the NCAA, like she was going to cakewalk
I don't
into
think
it.
she came in thinking that.
I think she came in with her ego boosted a little too high.
I won't argue a bigger
Right there,
ego, but I don't
I'll
think
say
she
that.
came in thinking she was just riding in on a white horse and everybody's just going to bow to her.
And then one other thing I will say, getting off of WNBA. How about Victor Wembanyama getting on the all-defensive team, baby? He was on 98 out of the 99 ballots, and it was...
What do you mean? There was one smart guy in the room?
Bro, I'm going to keep bringing it up every time.
This guy.
Every time.
This guy, they were in the last place team.
Most people think he should have won Defensive Player of the Year.
Yep.
Didn't their team come in dead last?
No.
It's an
Second to
individual
day last.
award.
But, dude,
Are we here for individual awards
I will
or are
keep
we
bringing
here
that
for
up.
championships?
I will keep bringing that up. Wemby, baby.
Bro.
Wemby, get in your brain. He's going to be the next big thing in the NBA. Wemby.
I'm
The
sorry.
Wemby.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. San Antonio does not put money into their roster like that. And unless they have a couple
will
more
now.
unbelievable. No, they won't. They're a small market team who stays a small market team. They were lucky enough to have a guy like an all-timer like Tim Duncan, to draft guys like Manu Ginobili and Tony Parker. They have to get lucky and draft that well again. Because if they don't, Wemby's going to be an island unto himself and in the basement, and he can win all the accolades he wants, but if you're in the basement, you're still watching everybody from an island somewhere instead of actually playing in the playoffs.
People are going to want to come and play with them. Let's go.
For what, less money?
and
Because
even-
as Dave would say,
and-
everybody wants their bag, so
and-
nobody's taking less money.
And even
And
if
San Antonio don't like to pay.
even if they don't put a team around him, he'll leave and go somewhere else and go win rings. Like, dude's a monster. If he can stay healthy with that lanky ass frame of his,
He's gonna be dirty.
He is going to be a moonster.
Yeah. Let's see how long that
That's
health
the only
lasts.
other thing I'll say.
So
That's it.
we'll put Eric back on that hill. He's already died on it once.
I know,
So
but
we'll
that's
just
where
let-
I'll
I'll
go, 'cause
continue
I
to
saw
die
that.
on
Oh,
that
we
hill.
know. We're leaving your body there. We're
You're
right.
talking to a guy who loves San Antonio Bigs. I love David Robinson. Give me the Admiral. Him and the Twin Towers when they had him and Duncan. I mean, that was
You talk about getting lucky.
the big fundamental.
David Robinson
one of my,
ends up
he is
going
one
down,
of my favorite,
Duncan,
outside of
like-
Patrick Ewing, he's my favorite NBA player of all time. Wemby ain't that yet.
No, of course
But
he's not.
He's on.
But he's
his
had
way, dude.
an amazing
He had a
start.
historic rookie year. He's on his way.
He also won the same award Duncan won in his Rookie of the Year with Rookie of the Year.
Let's go.
I don't think.
But didn't Duncan get a championship?
I don't think Duncan. Yeah, look at.
Yeah.
Duncan
But
might
it
have
came
got a
with
title.
David Robinson.
Oh my
he
god!
got to play with him.
You
Wemby's
can't talk.
just
You
by
can't. You
himself.
can't talk to him about this guy. He's just he tunnel vision, bro. He's got the blinders on. It's just Wemby not good instead of seeing Wemby
It's all
good.
that.
No,
That's
I'm
that's
not
the hill
saying
dying
he's.
on, bro.
I'm not saying he's
I'm
not
getting a Wemby
good.
jersey. I'm getting.
I'm just saying,
buying one.
do it. I dare you. Wear it on here. Wear it with pride. But right now, and until Wemby gets to his next team, whoever that is, or gets somewhere where they put the pieces around him, he's not going to win anything. And so that's why I'm saying it depends on how they draft it. San Antonio has, over the last 20 to 30 years, has drafted really well. Can they continue to do it?
I think so.
That was the last thing I wanted to bring up because I saw that. That's it. I'm good.
Well, all right. Well, then why don't we wrap it up here and tell everyone where they can find you? You got some social medias now, Joe.
Oh, that's right. I'm on Instagram, baby, at Joey.47. Oh
How do
yeah.
you spell Doc?
DOTH.
There you go. David Hastings 23 on X.
I'm at The Living Legend on X. And at Die on This Hill on YouTube. Like, follow, subscribe, share, Spotify, Apple, all your favorite podcasting apps of choice. And until next week, don't be afraid to have an opinion and die on this hill.
Get him on camera real quick before
The mascot.
Name die on this hill, and he dies on the hill of you should pet me and give me treats.
He's a little too short.
Oh, I saw him there.
Oh, wait.
Yeah.
There we go. I'm getting his jersey. We're gonna hang it right underneath Louis' Yankee picture. Wemby.